Hey guys, welcome to another video from Parts Factory Australia. Today we're going to be working on this Hilux Workmate, specifically fuel pump and of course the notorious fuel pump lock ring that sits on the top. Best guess is we're going to break this one, so you always, when you're doing one, you also grab your lock ring because basically it's a one-use thing. They get brittle and break. These are pretty well known to get all clogged up down in the fuel pump sock. Of course, they get clogged up, then what happens is the motor burns out. So yeah, replace the whole unit every time usually. You can get rebuild kits, but you can get these pumps new off us. We haven't got a price yet, so I won't quote it, but check out the website. You might be able to find the price up there. But secondhand, you can get the pumps $100. That's what we've gone ahead and done. This one has this car has a lazy start. So the first thing we're going to do is a fuel pump. It's quite common for that to be the issue or the cause of that. But anyway guys, I'd say that this job on a two-wheel drive is going to take about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. But a four-wheel drive, totally different ball game. I do not have a four-wheel drive to work on, so I can't show you in the video, but I will give you some tips and tricks to get the job done if you do have a four-wheel drive. Alrighty guys, let's jump into the video. Alrighty guys, now on a two-wheel drive, if you're doing this job, you are lucky. Because in a four-wheel drive, as you can imagine, the tub stops you from even accessing this area whatsoever. So that would then mean that the entire fuel tank has to be dropped down. And to do that, basically there's two straps. One here, feels like a 14 mil just there. And of course, there's one up this end, 40 mil as well. I'm gonna lift the car up with my trusty forklift at the back to show you, but of course you guys would use a jack to get the job like this done. Probably jack it up under the frame of the car here, or the frame at the back, and jack it right up so you've got as much room as possible. Of course, remembering to use some safety stands. Two if possible, one here, one down the back, as high as you possibly can get it. That way you can kind of crawl under there, preferably put a little towel down, etc, etc. Now, my advice before you even consider doing this job, it's going to be hard for you if your car no longer runs whatsoever, but of course you need to drain the fuel if you're doing the job on a four-wheel drive. The reason for that is when you do drop the tank in order to get to the pump, if it has 100 kilograms of fuel in it, you are going to have a rude shock when it lands on your head or chest, and you're calling out to your wife or your son or kids, family to come and save you. So definitely make sure it's completely drained as much as you possibly can of petrol. Of course, that's also good for safety and hazardous reasons as well. Alrighty, so as I said, I'm going to go ahead and lift this car up. That way we can get under there, have a look at what we're working with. Again, I won't be dropping the tank, but I will show you if you have a four-wheel drive how you can do such a thing. Alrighty guys, so we're here underneath the Hilux, and I just wanted to point out the two little straps that you can see. You can see one here. You got a little, I think it's a 14 mil just there. Of course, you make sure the fuel tank's nice and empty. Probably put a little jack under it. Nothing, maybe like a board, spreads its force across the board, and that way when you drop it down you don't snap all the cables and pipes off the top. But of course, so basically put the jack under, jack it up a little bit, and then two 14 mils, boom boom, the weight will be put down onto the jack, and yeah, that way we can come back around to the front and I'll show you the next part of it. Right, so we're here with the fuel pump now. So four-wheel drive, you've dropped it down a bit, and then on the four-wheel drive you'll actually have to get in and undo this, I guess it's just a joiner hose, and because it will actually hold the fuel tank up in the air. So yeah, it should be a little couple hose clamps, and of course that alligator clip up the top. And yeah, you literally just have to peel off those pipes off the fuel nozzle. So yeah, that's literally, there's no other way to do it. Now, of course, once the fuel tank's dropped down a bit further, or if you have a two-wheel drive, we've been able to access it the whole time, so let's hope that you do. That's the fuel pump. You'll be able to see it just sitting there, just like that. Now, of course, the first step is to release these high pressure fuel lines. Now, to do that, literally just these clips here, you can just use a flathead and they pop off, and you might get a little bit of fuel it'll probably spray out in front of you, but you can't really avoid that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that. And of course you have this electrical plug. I would recommend before unplugging that, make sure your battery's disconnected. That way there's no chance for any sparks in this area, because of course we all know what's gonna happen if that happens. And last thing to note here, guys, before we go ahead, is you can see how brittle this fuel ring is. See how it's even becoming powdery? The material is actually beginning to break down, and that's why we're going to be doing that at the same time. So, alrighty, let's get into it. So we're going to undo this electrical plug first. I've gone ahead and undone my battery. Basically, you just press on it and give it a pull, and we're going to tuck it out of the way, right out of the way like that, leaving all these electrical cables like that. Okay, so we now have these little fuel line retainer clips. I'm going to go ahead and grab a flathead, just pop them out, 1 and 2. I'm going to completely remove them. There's no real reason I can't do that. That way these lines come out nice and easy, because you don't want to force them out, because of course if you snap this, you're in for a shit fight. So definitely do it the way I do it. Okay, so little yellow clips, you see these 2 little tabs here, just push out on them. 1 and 2, and that way the little yellow clips begin to come in my direction. Finish the job with your trusty screwdriver that's gone missing. Here it is. Finish the job with a little flathead, just literally popping it out, 1 and 2. Now, as I said, you're going to get a bit of fuel, but let's hope I don't get blasted in the face. Literally just wiggling these pipes out. Right, so you do have to remove the yellow tabs completely to pull these out. I've just started levering up, but I'm not sure about the pressure, so of course I'm going to turn my head away. Nothing on that one. Second one, nothing. That's most likely something to do, that's actually most likely the exact thing that's causing the poor start. It should realistically maintain its pressure even when switched off. Okay, so we're going to move that just out of the way a little bit, not too far. And now it's time for the enjoyable part, getting this lock ring to spin lefty-loosey. Like the clock, if you're looking down in the tank, we need to spin it in that direction. Now, this is kind of where people lose their lock rings. If it's tight, of course we're going to damage it. So we're going to give it a shot. It might move immediately, we don't know. Boom. So straight away snapped one of the tabs. Luckily we've got like 30, but yes, it's most likely going to be tight. Right, so what I've done, couldn't get the lock ring, and from my previous history, you can waste 2 hours. So what I've decided to do is I used the screwdriver and I just knocked into it, and of course eventually, because it's brittle, it splits. If yours isn't brittle, then you'll have a better opportunity to actually get it to spin. So vice versa, you just have to make up the decision based on your own position. But now we should be able to pop it off like that, and then hopefully she springs up, and there you go. That's your weakest piss lock ring. So I'm now going to attempt to lift the pump up, hopefully not lose too much fuel. Yes, they are full of fuel, but you can kind of hopefully maneuver it in a way where the fuel's kind of going into the tank the best you possibly can. Bringing it out this direction. Oh, okay, there we go. Alrighty guys, putting the new pump in is going to be a little easier because it's not full of fuel and it's not going to make a massive mess. So you put your level in first, drop your fuel pump straight into the tank. Now from memory, I think these have to sit a certain way. Yeah, so there's a little tab here on the pump. It's got to slot into there when you push down on this pump. So yeah, the pump just kind of chills out. Of course, you push down onto the springs, slot that little slot in, and it sits there and literally just seals the edges. Now of course you need your lock ring. Bite it open. Bring your lock ring in, maintaining pressure all the way around the pump. And then you literally, as you can imagine, just screw it in. Making sure it's going on straight. You will probably know if it isn't pretty early because it'll bind and lock up. Now, just before we start doing all the other hoses, give it a few taps with the hammer, tightening it right up, tightening it up to a reasonable level, guys. And then of course you've still got the yellow tabs on your new, the yellow tabs seem to still be here on the new pump, so that means that we literally just bring the little things in, push them down. Yeah, it seems the yellow tabs definitely have to come out to push them down, then put them back in. So probably do that before you bring the pump in if possible. Yellow tabs out, press down on the fuel lines, yellow tabs back in, and then of course the last final step is your electrical plug. Alrighty guys, wasn't too hard on the two-wheel drive, but I'll see you in 20 to 30 minutes with the four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive viewers are going to be way back, probably for another 20 or 30 minutes getting all that worked out. But yeah, two-wheel drive, not too bad. You know, we chiseled basically through the lock ring, removing it out of the way. But if you've got one of them, which we stock at Parts Factory Australia, it's going to be super easy. We can just literally grab the seal that it comes with, grab your pump, smack it back in, put the lines back on, and hopefully you're good to go. Guys, we don't have the pumps yet available at Parts Factory. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have it in the near future. You might be watching this video a year from now. This is the start of 23 and we might even have it in stock. So make sure to go down to the bar of the video, check out the link, check out the Webby. If these are the parts you're chasing, should be available in our shop. Alrighty guys, all done. As you can hear, she's running beautifully as she should. That's literally it. They're really, with the two-wheel drives, that's actually pretty straightforward, so I was really impressed with that. Other than that guys, if you are snooping around on social media, make sure that you give us a follow. That way you can see all the fresh content that we've got coming up. We've got a couple Can-Am videos rather coming up. We've just gone ahead and bought a Parts Factory Can-Am. So we're going to be traveling all around Queensland, all around Australia, and doing some hectic jumps and shit. So yeah, definitely follow the channel, and that way you can see that content that's coming up. Alrighty guys, my name's Lucas, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.